So I started my career back in the Netherlands, where I studied psychology and business. And because I've always been pretty interested in people and the commercial business side of things, I decided to start my career working for Randstad, which is the global largest HR service provider, which I thought was a great starting point. And they actually offered a 3-year talent accelerator program where they basically give you the opportunity to rotate in all kind of different functions for the first 3 years, while 1 day a week you participate or work on board assignments, so you can also develop your strategic thinking. So I did that for the first 3 years, and when I finished it, I started in an operational leadership role, looking after a big region in the Netherlands, heading up a number of offices there. And then I moved to Australia about 5 years ago, where I've kind of continued on that journey from an operational leadership perspective. But I think what really has changed is that I've set up a few new business divisions when I arrived here, as well as delivered on a number of big key client projects, so more project-based than I did back in the Netherlands. What I'm doing right now is starting my own business, which is a big pivot after working for Randstad for 10 years. So I'm working together with 2 former colleagues in starting up our business that's called Flow of Work Co., where we focus on how organizations can better use the talent they already have through using skills as an currency, let's say. And how I got there, well, I think, as I said before, people, talent, and business have always been a great interest of mine. And I think in the people and talent landscape, things are evolving pretty rapidly. And I just felt it was time for me to kind of go on that journey myself. After being in a corporate landscape for such a long time. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. The best advice I have ever received is to really look at your own strengths, interests, and motivation, and have them really clear to decide what's right for you at what point in your life. And I think that changes. And if you have done that piece of work and you refresh that and you keep that up to date, it really, really helps you to navigate your career. So that's one of the great advices I've definitely had. And the other one is to basically always try, even if you haven't done it before, and give it a go and get out of your comfort zone. And I think that kind of resonates with the worst advice I've ever had from someone who basically told me many times to just accept the status quo and live with it, and don't make changes, even if it doesn't feel right. And I think I've worked for that boss for a little while, and I think that just wasn't great for me, let's say, to just accept the status quo. I think the thing I wish I would have known or see with a lot of my friends now that all have kind of 10 plus years of work experience is that that at some point experience becomes more important, and you kind of can pigeonhole yourself in a certain direction if you don't stay aware of the path you're on during your career. I think when you enter the workforce, the only thing you really bring are your transferable skills. And if you're a great problem solver at that point in time, or you're a great analytical thinker, that's how people look at you. And I think after 10 years, you still have those great transferable skills, but they will become more important together with your experience. So I think knowing how much society still pigeonholes people into certain career directions, as much as I don't think that that's the future, that's something I didn't really appreciate it when I started my career. And I think retrospectively, I would have loved to be more aware of that, because that might have made me make some different decisions along the ride. I think the biggest mistake I've made is just to not listen to my own gut for too long. So I think often in your career when things are right or when they're not. And it's often led by, or at least let's talk for myself, by fear of not making a change. And I think I knew for a long time that I was up for a different challenge outside of corporate life, as an example. And because over time you've got things built up, it just feels you need to let go of things. It's not always easy, but the biggest mistake is just to let it go on for too long while you actually know that something should change. And I think then you should just jump quicker. I could have done that. I think not giving up and keeping the eyes on the future and continuing has always helped me a lot. Also, I think the openness to learn and to be uncomfortable but still do it and then learn along the way. I wouldn't say it's always easy, but I definitely think it has helped me a lot during my career, and more and also I think some form of self-awareness, so really knowing where where your great strengths are, but also where your weaknesses are, and to be open to receive feedback on them. I think those kind of more softer things have really helped me along the way, which I think in the end are the most important ones to progress.